All right, shalom, shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rachakodash. Double honors to the elder apostles of Great Millstone and salutations to the elect. This is Brother Lawyer from Great Millstone, Miami. And the topic I want to go into in this lesson is the heathen are going into slavery. Okay. All right. Yeah, that's the judgment of the Lord, man. You know, and that is actually going to be part of our honor as a nation to take these nations, these other heathen nations into captivity. All right. And that's part of the blessing. That's actually part of the inheritance. OK, so I just want to touch on that in this lesson, man. You know, a basic lesson. You know, you got to go back into the basics every so often. So the Spirit is on me to go into that today. Lord willing, it's edifying. So I'm going to go to a classic scripture. OK, Revelation 13 and 9 and 10. It says, if any man have an ear, let him hear. He that leadeth into captivity shall go into captivity. He that killeth with the sword must be killed with the sword. Here is the patience and the faith of the saints. OK, so there you go, man. All right. These Edomites, man, you know, chiefly you Edomites, but also you other nations have led us into captivity, man, have led the Israelites into captivity. So therefore, you're going to go into captivity. It's plain as day, man. You guys have killed us with the sword, chiefly Esau, but also you other heathen nations. Well, therefore, you will be killed with the sword. All right. This is the patience and faith of the saints, man. OK. All right. This is what the hopeful, righteous elect of the nation of Israel will be looking forward to, man. Vengeance and recompense upon the heathen, man. OK. All right. Which the scriptures say in Psalm chapter 80. Matter of fact, well, not Psalm 80, but Psalm 139, I believe that is. Might be, no. It's Psalm 137. OK. All right. It says in verse 3. All right. It says, for there they that carried us away captive required of us a song, and they that wasted us required of us mirth, saying, sing us one of the songs of Zion. How shall we sing the Lord's song in a strange land? If I forget thee, O Jerusalem, let my right hand forget her cunning. If I do not prefer thee, remember thee, let my tongue cleave to the roof of my mouth. If I prefer not Jerusalem above my chief joy. Remember, O Lord, the children of Edom in the day of Jerusalem, who said, race it, even to the foundation thereof. OK, so the Edomites, you know, they were the ones that were spearheading the downfall of our nation, man, especially during the times of you know, ancient Rome. Those were the Edomites, you know, destroying the Israelite state of Judea. OK, you know, during the time of the Greeks, they defiled the temple. OK, during the time of the ancient Babylonians, they were, you know, they sided with the Babylonians and they helped the Babylonians capture us, you know, and also to burn down the temple. OK. OK, so they've always been our ops, so to speak, man. All right. Always been part, you know, of us being taken into captivity and always the chief, you know, supporters of it, you know, the ones that always spearheaded it. OK, it says, O daughter of Babylon, who art to be destroyed, happy shall he be that rewardeth thee as thou hast served us. Happy shall he be that taketh and dasheth thy little ones against the stones. OK, so they led us into captivity. They're going to go into captivity, man. It's just what it is. OK, they abused and used and misused us. It's going to happen to them. It's the justice of the Lord. OK. Isaiah 14 and 1, it says, for the Lord will have mercy on Jacob and will yet choose Israel and set them in their own land. And the strangers shall be joined with them, which is going into the Israelite foreigners. OK, and they shall cleave to the house of Jacob. All right. So the Lord's going to gather Israel from amongst the other nations. OK. All right. Because right now we're strangers and pilgrims on the earth and we're estranged from our land, you know. All right. It says, and the people shall take them and bring them to their place. And the house of Jacob shall possess them in the land of the Lord for servants and handmaids. And they shall take them captive, whose captives they were. And they shall rule over their oppressors, man. OK, so they're going to take them captives, whose captives they were. All right. We've been led into captivity into all these different nations, man. It's only right that they have to serve us. OK, and be our captives, man. It's the right thing to do. It's justice, man. OK. All right. Obadiah chapter 1. OK, verse 15, it says, for the day of the Lord is near upon all the heathen. As thou hast done, it shall be done unto thee. Thy reward shall return upon thine own hand, for as ye have drunk upon my holy mountain, so shall all the heathen drink continually. Yea, they shall drink, and they shall swallow down, and they shall be as though they had not been. Okay, so the heathen, all had a part in us being taken down and being brought into slavery, being held captive. All right, chiefly you Edomites. Well, the same thing is going to have to come unto you. The cup that we had to drink, you're going to have to drink. The judgments that we had to deal with, you're going to have to deal with. Okay. But upon Mount Zion shall be deliverance, and there shall be holiness, and the house of Jacob shall possess their possession. So you see, there's a distinction between what Israel gets and what the heathen are going to get. The heathen are going to get judgment and slavery. Okay. The house of Jacob is going to get deliverance. Okay. And we're going to possess them, the heathen. All right. And the house of Jacob shall be a fire, and the house of Joseph a flame, and the house of Esau for stubble, and they shall kindle in them and devour them, and there shall not be any remaining of the house of Esau, for the Lord hath spoken it. Okay. So there you go, man. We're gonna take you heathens in slavery, man. Chiefly you Edomites, but after 1,000 years for Esau, you're gonna be destroyed by fire, man. The ones that you Edomites are going to survive survive, if you even want to call it that, the destruction of your kingdom by fire. You're going into slavery. And after 1,000 years of serving hardcore bondage underneath the Israelites, we're going to gather you all up and burn you all up. That's the Bible, man. OK. All right. And it is what it is. OK. It is what it is. It's the judgment of Yahweh Shem Yahushai. OK. Let me see here. Jeremiah 30. Okay. All right. Jeremiah 30 and verse 16, it says, therefore, all they that devour thee shall be devoured, and all thine adversaries, every one of them shall go into captivity. And they that spoil thee shall be a spoil, and all that prey upon thee will I give for a prey. You see, so they spoiled us and they led us into captivity. They're going to be led into captivity, man. OK. For I will restore health unto thee. I will heal thee of thy wounds, saith the Lord, because they called thee an outcast, saying, this is Zion whom no man seeketh after. All right. So they were talking, mess about us being cast down and exiled from our land and, falling away. And they were able to take advantage of us. OK. Take advantage of our downfall, and have us as their servants and spoil us and, make us a prey. None saith restore. Well, the same thing is going to happen to them. And the Lord is going to, bring honor back to our nation via this salvation. Verse 18, it says, thus saith the Lord, behold, I will bring again the captivity of Jacob's tents and have mercy on his dwelling places in the city. Shall be builded upon her own heap, and the palace shall remain after the manner thereof. And out of them shall proceed thanksgiving and the voice of them that make merry, and I will multiply them, and they shall not be few. I will also glorify them, and they shall not be small. Their children shall also be as aforetime, and their congregation shall be established before me, and I will punish all that oppress them. Okay. All right. So the Lord is going to deliver us from our captivities. And we're going to be prosperous. OK, we're going to be multiplying. All right. And we're going to be in a position of authority to execute vengeance upon the heathen, man. OK. All right. That goes back to Psalm. All right. Psalm 149. It says, let the saints be joyful in glory. Verse 5, I'll go to verse 1. All right. Psalm 149 and 1, it says, praise ye the Lord. Sing unto the Lord a new song, and his praise in the congregation of saints. Let Israel rejoice in him that made him. Let the children of Zion be joyful in their king. So the saints are the Israelites. That's the congregation of the saints. OK. Let them praise him in the dance. Let them sing praises unto him with timbrel and harp. For the Lord taketh pleasure in his people. He will beautify the meek with salvation. So the Israelites are the meek, beginning with the elect. OK. All right. And they're the ones that the Lord is going to save because he has pleasure in his people. Let the saints be joyful in glory. So there's a distinction between who's the Lord's favor is on and who the Lord's favor is not on. All right. Who he's going to save and who he's not going to save. Although the scriptures are very specific here, man. All right, it says, let the saints be joyful in glory. Let them sing aloud upon their beds. Let the high praises of God be in their mouth and a two-edged sword in their hand to execute vengeance upon the heathen. Okay, that's part of the praises of the Lord. That's part of the salvation is the Lord allowing us to execute vengeance upon the heathen at his return, and punishments upon the people, to bind their kings with chain and their nobles with fetters of iron, to execute upon them the judgment written. This honor have all his saints, praise ye the Lord. So look, the heathen are going into slavery, man. Their kings and their princes and their rulers are going into fetters of iron, man. It's part of the curses actually being brought upon them the same way they were brought upon us, man. Deuteronomy, the 30th chapter, it says in verse 7, it says, and the Lord thy God will put all these curses upon thine enemies and on them that hate thee, which persecuted thee, man. We know what one of the curses is in 28. Okay, Deuteronomy 28th chapter. What does it say? All right. All right, it says in verse 32, it says, thy sons and thy daughters shall be given unto another people, and thine eyes shall look and fail with longing for them all the day long, and there shall be no might in thine hand. Okay, so we're gonna, hey man, we're gonna be fucking doing to them what they did to us. All right, putting them in slavery the same way that they were put into slavery. Thou shalt beget sons and daughters, but thou shalt not enjoy them, for they shall go into captivity. That was part of the curses, man. Okay. All right. Verse 47, it says, because thou servest not the Lord thy God with joyfulness and with gladness of heart for the abundance of all things, therefore shalt thou serve thine enemies, which the Lord shall send upon against thee in hunger and thirst and in nakedness and in want of all things, and he shall put a yoke of iron upon thy neck until he hath destroyed thee. Okay, so again, slavery, that was part of the curses, man. Okay. All right, we're going to be selling them around the world on slave ships the same way they did to us. It is what it is, man. Okay. Deuteronomy 28:68, it says, and the Lord shall bring thee into Egypt again with ships by the way whereof I spake unto thee. Thou shalt see it no more again. And there ye shall be sold unto your enemies for bondmen and bondwomen, and no man shall buy you. Okay. So they're going into slavery the same way we went into slavery. All right. Daniel. Okay. Daniel chapter 7. Okay. All right. It says, verse 18, but the saints of the Most High shall take the kingdom and possess the kingdom even for forever, even forever and ever. Okay. So we're going to possess the kingdom, man. We're going to take it by force when the Lord comes back. Okay. All right. What did Yahushua say in Revelation, the 2nd chapter? It says what? All right. It's a matter of fact, I'm gonna get it. Just get it. Just to, not butcher it. Revelation, the 2nd chapter, and verse 26, it says, and he that overcometh and keepeth my works unto the end, to him will I give power over the nations, and he shall rule them with a rod of iron. As the vessels of a potter shall they be broken to shivers, even as I have received of my Father. Okay, so Yahushua is coming back to subdue the nations by force. Okay, and so those that are joint heirs with him, his fellow saints, which are Israelites, are going to inherit that same authority over the nations too, man. Okay, Yahushua, the scripture saying Psalm, the 2nd chapter. All right, it says, ask of me and I will give thee the heathen for thine inheritance, man. All right, Psalm, the 2nd chapter, and verse 8, it says, ask of me and I shall give thee the heathen for thine inheritance and the uttermost parts of the earth for thy possession. Thou shalt break them with a rod of iron. Thou shalt dash them in pieces like a potter's vessel. Okay, so Yahushua is coming to possess the heathen and reign over them by force with an iron fist. Okay, and their counsel is against the Lord, man. They want to break it says that let us break their bands asunder and cast away their cords from us. So they really don't want to be in subjection to Yahushua, but or to the Most High's authority, which is going to be executed through Yahushua, okay, and by Yahushua. All right, so they're really trying to fight against that, but the Lord is going to do it anyway. All right, because the Lord is in control. All right, that's why the scriptures say the Lord shall have them in derision, because they're fighting a battle they can't win. Okay, All this trying to save the heathen and shit, it ain't gonna work, man. And all this New World Order bullshit they doing, that bullshit ain't gonna work, man. It's all gonna fall apart in their face, man. It's just spiral out of control into just shame and fucking confusion. Okay, all right. And they're gonna go into slavery regardless. So, anyway, Daniel chapter 7, verse 27. All right. Oh. Verse 26, it says, but the judgment shall sit, and they shall take away his dominion and consume it and destroy it unto the end. All right, which that judgment that shall sit, okay, is the judgment of the Lord, and take away his dominion. That's going into the dominion of this beast system. Okay, in the last days, that the revival of Rome via NATO and the EU, spearheaded by Babylon the Great, the Lord is going to take away his dominion, destroy his kingdom. Okay, all right. And what's going to happen afterwards? And the kingdom and the dominion and the greatness of the kingdom under the whole heaven shall be given to the people of the saints of the Most High, whose kingdom is an everlasting kingdom, and all dominion shall serve and obey him. OK, so the kingdom is going to be given to the people of the saints of the Most High. They're going to possess it. They're going to have the dominion. They're going to be, and the heathen are going to be in dominion underneath the Israelites and Yahweh Shai. That's what this is saying, man. OK, they're going to be our slaves. It is what it is. And that goes back to the law, too, man. The law even tells you that. OK, the law even tells you this, man. All right. This is Leviticus chapter 25. OK. All right. Verse 44, it says, both thy bondmen and thy bondmaids, which thou shalt have, shall be of the heathen that are round about you. Of them ye shall buy bondmen and bondmaids. Moreover, of the children of the strangers that do sojourn among you, of them shall ye buy, and of their families which that are with you, which they beget in your land, and they shall be your possession. And ye shall take them as an inheritance for your children after you, to inherit them for possession. They shall be your bondmen forever. But over the children, your brethren, the children of Israel, ye shall not rule one over another with rigor. So the heathen strangers, that's the strangers that's talking about in this verse here. Okay, in these series of verses talking about heathens. Okay, all right, we can take them as slaves. That's according to the law. OK, and have our children possess them, man. So the heathen are going into slavery. You know, the judgment from the beginning, even with Esau, was that the elder shall serve the younger. Romans chapter 9. OK. And verse 10, it says, and not only this, but when Rebekah also had conceived by one, even by our father Isaac, for the children being not yet born, neither having done any good nor evil, that the purpose of God according to election might stand, not of works, but of him that calleth, it was said unto her, the elder shall serve the younger. As it is written, Jacob have I loved, but Esau have I hated. You see that? So the elder shall serve the younger. They're going to be servants, man. Esau is going to be servants, and the other heathens too. OK, the other heathens too, man. They're all going to get it. All right. They're going to have to drink of that cup of slavery that we had to deal with, man. OK. All right. So, hey, it is what it is, man. There ain't no getting around the will of the Lord. OK. All right. This is Joel chapter 3, verse 6. It says, the children also of Judah and the children of Jerusalem have ye sold unto the Grecians, which is going into Esau. OK. All right. Because those Hamites and those Ishmaelites did sell us into the hand of Esau. All right. That ye might remove them far from their border. But I will raise them up out of the place where ye have sold them, and will return your recompense upon your own head. And I will sell your sons and your daughters into the hands of the children of Judah, and they shall sell them to the Sabaeans, to a people far off, for the Lord hath spoken it. So, you know, you had the Hamites coordinate with Ishmael and Esau to get us into slavery. OK, well, the roles will reverse. All right. When the Lord comes back and delivers us, we're going to be selling these heathen into slavery all over the world, man. OK, so, yeah, man, it's righteous judgment, man. OK, it is a righteous thing with the Lord to recompense tribulation to them that trouble you. All right. That's what the scriptures say. OK, so You know, it's, you know, other scriptures I could have went to, but I'm going to just leave it at that. You know, Lord willing, this video is edifying. I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem Rachakwadash. Double honors to the elder apostles of Great Millstone and citations to the elect. Shalom.